Hello friends, I am Pallavi. Today I have taken a lecture to deliver on contemporary issues. That is the Epidemic Disease Act 1897 versus the Epidemic Disease Amendment Ordinance 2020. Do you know why this Epidemic Disease Act 1897 has been amended in 2020? So let us discuss the Epidemic Disease Act 1897 versus the Epidemic Disease Ordinance 2020. So first we'll take up what is the object of enactment of Epidemic Disease Act 1897. What powers central governments have? What powers state government have? Is there any penal provision? Why Epidemic Disease Act 1897 is amended by Epidemic Disease Ordinance 2020, and what new provisions are introduced by the ordinance in this act. Let us take first the object of Epidemic Disease Act 1897. This act was enacted to handle the situation in Bombay, that is known as Bombay plague at that time. The aim of this act was to better prevention of the spread of dangerous epidemic disease. This is a very small act. It has only 4 sections. Section 1 is talking about extent and scope of the act, and section 2 is talking about what state government, what are the powers of the state governments, and section 2A is talking about what are the powers of the central government and what penal provisions are there, and what whether the officers who are taking action in good faith are protected. So let us take what central government has to take measures to prevent the spread of outbreak of dangerous epidemic disease, and for this state governments can make the regulations, notices, orders, notifications if to handle the situation of Epidemic Disease Act where there is a threat of outbreak of such dangerous disease in any part of state. No, if there is no other law to handle the situation, this state government has to ensure that though there is no other law to handle this Epidemic Disease Act, only then state government can make the regulation under this act. So therefore all the state governments had make the COVID regulation under this act. Now what are the powers of central government? Section 2A says that to prevent the outbreak of any dangerous disease and it spread in any part of India, it can make the regulations, notifications or orders, and further it can make the regulation for the inspection and detention of any ship or vessels. It can make regulation for the detention of any person intending to travel by water or arriving in India. Under this section, only central government make the provision to check the passenger who are coming from the abroad. They stop all the procedure over there, and they appointed officers to take these passenger in a quarantine, or the passenger can be instructed to go for self quarantine. So under these 2 sections, central government and state government is having a power. Section 3 is talking about if any person disobey any regulation or order made under this act shall be deemed to have committed an offence which is punishable under section 188 of the Indian Penal Code. What section 188 says? What section 88 of Indian Penal Code says is that if there is any disobedience of the order of public servant, here the public servant means government officials or the person to whom the power has been instructed. And this section also says that no legal proceedings or any case shall be brought against those persons who are doing the job in good fit under this act. Now let us take why this disease epidemic disease act has been amended when it is good. But since there we have observed there are a number of the cases when the people were opposing the order of public servant, and they were violent against the doctors and police whenever they were going to take away the patients of corona virus or the COVID-19 to take them for quarantine. They were attacking the doctors, they were attacking the police officials. To stop all these things, to ensure that there is zero tolerance to any form of violence against healthcare service personnel, and to damage their property during any situation akin to current pandemic or epidemic disease COVID-19. So under this act under this ordinance we will discuss what is the meaning of act of violence, and who are health care service personnel, and what is the property of healthcare service personnel over here, and how safety of the healthcare services healthcare service personnel is ensured, and what punishment is provided. By this ordinance, section 2A is introduced to define what is act of violence and what is healthcare service personnel, what is property. Act of violence means any harassment which affect the working condition of healthcare service personnel and preventing them from discharging their duty. Second, harm, injury, hurt, or intimidation or danger to the life of healthcare service personnel, either in the premises of the clinical establishment or otherwise. If any act obstruct healthcare service personnel in discharge of his duty, either in the premises of the clinical establishment or otherwise. So these are the act of violence under the section 1A of the ordinance. Section 1AB explain who are included in the healthcare service personnel. A person who may come in direct contact with affected person and is at the risk of affected with the epidemic disease while carrying out duties related to the epidemic. It includes doctors, nurses, paramedical worker and community health worker. Any person empowered to take measures to prevent the outbreak of disease, and other person designated by the state government or the central government, and the other person designated by the state government to prevent the outbreak of the disease. Section 1A subclause C says what is the meaning of property here. Under the Epidemic Disease Act, property means clinical establishment, quarantine facility, mobile medical unit, and other person or other property in which a healthcare service has direct interest in relation to the epidemic. Section 2A is introduced to expand the power of central government. Earlier, central government is having a power to make the inspection only in the vessel or ship. Now this power has been expanded to make the expansion of any bus, train, goods vehicle or aircraft which is leaving the port of India or arriving at port of India, and they can make the detention of any person intending to travel from the port or during an outbreak, and regulate the detention of any person intending to travel by these means. Meaning thereby by inserting section 2A, the power of central government has been expanded. Section 2B is introduced by this ordinance to protect the healthcare service personnel. This section says that no person shall indulge in any act of violence against a healthcare service personnel or cause damage or loss to any property during an epidemic or pandemic. Section 3A introduced to Section 3A is renumbered, and further several section has been introduced. Now the original provision of Section 3 is renumbered as Section 3 subclause 1. It is saying disobey of the order of public servant. It has been remained as original, that if any person disobey any regulation or order made under this act by the public servant deemed to be have committed an offence punishable under Section 188 of IPC. Section 3 subclause 2 says that if any person commit or abet the commission of any act of violence against the healthcare service personnel, or abet or cause damage or loss to any property during an epidemic, such act is punishable with imprisonment of minimum 3 months to maximum 5 years and a fine between rupees 50,000 and 2 lakh rupees. Here I would like to explain or to clear that under the previous act, the Epidemic Disease Act 1897, the punishment is only of maximum 1 month, or the fine was of only 200 rupees if they are disobeying the order of public servant. But under this act, it explained that if any person commit the violence against the healthcare service personnel, even they try to commit any act of violence against them, or to damage their property, abet or cause to damage their property, in that case that act is punishable under this act with minimum 3-month punishment, which may expand to 5 years, and the fine of rupees between 50,000 to 2 lakh rupees. So this section protect the violence against the healthcare service personnel. Now Section 3 subclause 3 says committing act of grievous hurt. It means if any act of violence against any healthcare service personnel causes grievous harm, that is equivalent to Section 320 of the IPC, the person committing the offence will be punishable with imprisonment of minimum 6 months to maximum 7 years and a fine of minimum 1 lakh rupees to 5 lakh rupees. We have seen a doctor was hurt by knife, and it was considered as a grievous hurt under Section 320 of IPC. Such kind of act should be stopped. So this by introducing this section, such kind of committing of act of violence is to be handled under this section. Now Section 3 subclause A has been introduced to say that about the cognizance, investigation and trial. These provisions were not in old act, and it says about cognizance. So these offences mentioned under Section 3 subclause 2 and Section 3 subclause 3 says that these act are the cognizable and non-bailable offence. Investigation will be taken up by the police officer who shall not be below the rank of inspector, and will be carried off after the filing of FIR. Trial, if any inquiry or trial is conducted, proceedings shall be taken up expeditiously as far as possible. It cannot be more than it cannot be taken more than 6 months. Means inquiry or trial will be conducted within the 6 months. We have seen under this act that several cases that FIR was filed against the film against the singer, and so many persons who were violating the provision of the previous act. Although this act is applicable after the 24th April 2020, previous act will not be considered. After the act which is committed after the promulgation of this act will be handled by this ordinance only. Section 3 subclause 2 has been inserted to say that the offences committed under this act, section 3 subclause 2 and section 3 subclause 3, is subject to compoundable by the victim but with the permission of the court. Means offence are subject to compound, it can be done. Section 3 subclause C is inserted this is very important, that when a person is prosecuting for causing grievous harm to healthcare survey personnel, the court will presume at the time of trial that the person is guilty of the offence unless the contrary is proved. Means here the burden of proof is on the defendant to say that he has not committed any offence of committing violence. He has not committed any act of violence against the healthcare service personnel unless until they prove. Court will presume. The doctrine of presumption will be applicable. Now section 3 subclause D says that presumption of existence of culpable mental state means the intention to cause harm to other person, or ill motives or ill intention, bad intention, that we presume. Means during the prosecution of the offence committed by any person, means accused, under this act, court shall presume the existence of culpable mental state on the person, although defense will be available with the accused. Means against the presumption will apply over here by the court against the person who has committed act of violence, that he has the intention to cause harm, although the defense is available with the accused to negate this presumption, but court will presume this. Now section 3E, compensation for act of violence. Here that it is the strange provision over here that this act is giving the punishment up to maximum 7 years, and giving penalty that is up to the 5 lakh, and this is also talking about to give the compensation to the healthcare service personnel if that violence is caused damage to them. Means again I just repeat the provision. Person convicted of offence will also be liable to pay compensation to the healthcare survey personnel whom they have hurt. Such compensation will be determined by the court in the case of damage of the property. Means the compensation will be given for the personal harm as well as damage to the property. The compensation payable by the accused to the victim will be twice of the amount of the fair market value of the damaged property. That will be determined by the court only. Here again it says that if the convicted person fails to pay the compensation, the amount will be recovered as an area of land revenue under the Revenue Recovery Act 1890. Meaning thereby says that the compensation which is fixed by the court on the accused to pay to the victim has to be recovered at any cost. So here just I would like to clear that the Act Epidemic Disease Act 1897 versus the Epidemic Disease Amendment Ordinance 2020. We make the comparison between these two by saying that the power of the central government has been expanded, and the act of violence which is committed by the person who are not who are not ready to obey the order of public servant, who are not ready to obey the guidelines made under this act, or who are creating obstruction or the hindrance for the application, for the implementation of this act, and they were damaging the property of the healthcare service professional, and they are causing harm to the doctors or nurses, and they were making hindrance in the discharging of their duties. So all these are included under this ordinance, which were not there in the Act of Epidemic Disease 1897. Although in both the law, it is not defined what is the meaning of epidemic disease. So as in general way, epidemic disease means the disease which is outbroken and outbreak and affected large numbers of the people in any part of India or whole India. In that, and there is no law to tackle this situation. In that case, that disease will be known as a epidemic disease. As per the general definition or the general conversation, if we see whether before this act has been implemented in India, yes, this the epidemic disease had been implemented in various part of the country in various time, in Gujarat, in Pune, and to handle the situation of swine flu also. So it is not new thing this epidemic disease has come for the implementation in the corona virus at the rate COVID-19. So by this I will say stay home, stay safe. Thank you very much.